I've mentioned several times that there is so much woke pollution going on that I can't keep up with it all by myself. And today is an excellent example of what I'm talking about. I completely missed the first story that we're about to talk about. It was brought to my attention a few minutes ago from a viewer who sent the link to me by email. Anytime you guys see a story that pertains to what we do here on the channel, send it to me, btlkc84 at gmail.com. There are no bad ideas. My news feed's tailored to recommend the biggest stories to me, but sometimes I'll miss one, like the story we're about to talk about. The source for this story is NBC News and OutSports. Ever heard of OutSports before? Yeah, me neither, till about 30 minutes ago. It's a sports website dedicated to covering LGBT athletes in sports, which is cool, no big deal. Every site, every outlet, they have their own niche. Our niche here on the channel is covering the politicization of sports. ESPN's niche is politicizing sports by any means necessary. NBC's niche is bowing to the far left agenda and drawing record low ratings. We all have our niche. The 2021 Tokyo Olympics have been nicknamed the Rainbow Olympics. The name fits, but I prefer to call them the Woke Olympics. This was the most political Olympics of my lifetime, which is the reason no one was watching. Ratings for the Olympics set record lows. I don't think most people have an issue with the LGBT community. Me personally, I don't care if you're gay, straight, bisexual, questioning, transgender. I don't care. None of it makes a difference to me. It's none of my business, and I prefer to keep it that way. I believe that's where people take an issue with it. When you shove your sexuality in their face. In some cases, it's not even the athletes themselves that are doing this. It's the damn media. From what I can tell, Laurel Hubbard is an extremely private person. Now, for those of you that don't know, Laurel Hubbard is the dude that changed into a woman and competed against other women in powerlifting at the Olympics. She wasn't out there self-promoting. She simply wanted to compete and go home. Simple as that. She didn't like the media attention. She's the exact opposite of someone like Raven Saunders, who purposefully drew attention to herself with her political demonstration on the medal podium. By the way, what the hell happened to that IOC investigation into Raven Saunders? Have you noticed that it's just quietly went away? I told you guys it would be forgotten, that nothing would happen to her for blatantly violating the policy that states you can't protest on the medal podium. Nothing will happen to her. Interesting. Anyway, like I said, I don't think most people have an issue with the LGBT community. It is the constant self-promotion, the push to get their agenda, their beliefs into schools to influence your children. The media constantly hyping them up. Headline over at NBC earlier this week. Team LGBTQ earns 32 medals at Tokyo Olympics. What? Team LGBTQ? I must have missed the memo. When did Team LGBTQ form? I knew Russia was banned from competing in the Olympics for doping their players, so they formed their own team to get around the ban, and the damn IOC allowed it to happen. If you want the full story on that, check out the archives. I did a video on it a week or two ago. But I didn't realize that we had an entirely new country competing in the Olympics this year called LGBTQ. Did you know that? NBC and OutSports are celebrating the fact that Team LGBTQ won 32 medals. And if they were a real country, they would have placed 11th. Now, I'm sure there are some out there who wouldn't mind the LGBT community forming their own country and leaving the rest of us the hell alone with their woke politics. But alas, we don't live in an ideal world. The Tokyo Olympics featured a record 182 LGBT athletes competing. Of those 182, 30%, or 55 of them, won a medal. That's great. But why do we have to separate all of them into their own team? I thought the whole purpose of the LGBT agenda was inclusion, diversity. Separating yourselves into your own team and category is the exact opposite of inclusion and diversity. It's exclusion. These 182 athletes were from different countries all around the world. Since NBC wants to count medals based off of the athlete's sexuality, that means Team Straight or Team Heterosexual won 1,048 medals. This is an Olympic record and more medals than China has won in every Olympics combined. So I guess all of us heterosexuals should be celebrating this accomplishment. This is another example of the media trying to keep people divided. And since we're on the topic of the LGBT community, might as well go ahead and mention Sue Bird again. Sue Bird is a beacon for the woke movement. Like Megan Rapinoe, she has been advocating for equal pay for women in sports. Sue Bird believes that WNBA players should receive equal revenue sharing like the NBA players do. NBA players receive 50% of the revenue, WNBA players receive about 20%. Now, if I were running the WNBA, instead of giving the players a percentage of the gross revenue, I would give them a percentage of the profits, which are zero. Then we wouldn't have to deal with this nuisance known as the WNBA anymore. Wouldn't have to worry about their players kneeling for the national anthem, since the players would be getting paid what they earn, which is nothing. In 25 years, the WNBA has never turned a profit. The league loses on average $10 million every year. Now, instead of players like Sue Bird being thankful they have a job that pays them six figures every year, more money than most people in America make, matter of fact, Sue Bird, her WNBA salary is more money than most people in America make in 4 or 5 years. But that's not enough for her. She feels entitled to more. After all, the WNBA is losing all this money because no one gives a damn about Sue Bird or the league, so obviously Sue Bird has earned more money. Yeah, I don't follow that logic either. Sue Bird and the Seattle Storm, they won the WNBA's Commissioner's Cup last night. Whatever the hell that is. It was the inaugural event, and for most of you, I'm sure right now is the first time you've ever heard of it. I tried to find the live attendance for the game last night, couldn't find it, which means one of two things. I didn't care enough to look hard, or the attendance was so low that they don't want to release the number. Anyway, after Sue Bird and the Seattle Storm win the Commissioner's Cup, she was asked by one member of the media covering the event, the only member of the media covering the event, how much she thought the trophy weighed. Sue Bird said it actually weighs the same amount of pounds as our bonus money. In the real world, the bonus money for winning the Commissioner's Cup in the WNBA would be zero. In the subsidized WNBA, the players who won were awarded $30,000, which is $30,000 more than they deserve. The average salary in the United States is $53,000 a year. That's the average salary for people working in the real world, not the WNBA, which is heavily subsidized by the NBA to keep it alive. That's the average salary of people working for businesses who actually make money. Sue Bird made over half of that amount, or almost half of that amount, I should say, in one night. And she has the audacity to complain about it? Are you kidding me? If someone handed you a check for $30,000 for one day's work, would you complain about it? Sue Bird believes that she should be compensated closer to the level of LeBron James, whose bonus for winning the NBA Finals last year was about $370,000. The difference is LeBron James makes the NBA millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars every year. He doesn't lose them money. If I were the commissioner of the WNBA, I wouldn't issue that $30,000 check to Sue Bird. You think this isn't enough money? Fine. How about $0? Because that's how much money you've made us throughout your 17-year career. Zero. Players on the losing team in the Commissioner's Cup, they receive 10 grand just for showing up and losing. Yeah, WNBA players, they are so mistreated. They are so underpaid. Between paying officials, the arena, its employees, salaries, bonuses, The WNBA probably lost hundreds of thousands of dollars putting on the Commissioner's Cup. And the players had the audacity to complain about the payout? This is the sense of entitlement that I'm talking about. But don't worry, no big deal. Because the NBA will be there to subsidize those losses for the WNBA. Time to let me know what you think. Give me your thoughts on Team LGBT in the Olympics. Also, what do you think of Sue Bird complaining about her WNBA payout? Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys later.